I'm gonna let everyone else in now.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll go ahead and get started with Coach Kelly's post-game press conference. Please use the participant button at the bottom to raise your hand if you have a question, and I will take you off mute. We'll go ahead and start with Ben.
Coach, I know you had 4 turnovers, but did you see anything out of the defense that made you think that they could help you win this game?
Hold on, Coach. I think you're muted. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I think we put our defense in a bad situation.
We can hear you now, Nick.
Okay. I think we put our defense in some adverse situations in the first half, and just we dug too deep a hole in the first half to be able to come back, and you're down 35-14 at half, and we come back to make it a 48-42 game. We got to do a better job securing the football. I thought our defense started off well. We forced them into a punt, but then we turned the punt over and gave them a short field. So, there's things we can build on. I thought there were some newcomers and new players that flashed and did some really good things for us, and we need to continue to grow and get better.
Did this feel kind of familiar though? I mean, a big early deficit and you're kind of clawing your way back.
Nah, I don't think anything about 2020 feels familiar, Ben.
Okay, we'll go ahead and go to Mike.
Hey, Coach, in your introductory press conference, you said football was about friendships, relationships, and championships, but after this game, it doesn't seem you're any closer to that third part. How do you account for this start in your third season?
Yeah, I think it's one game, and I talked about it. I mean, it's not anything more than we turned the ball over too many times, and we need to rectify that. When you're not going to win games when you have 4 turnovers in the first half. I mean, that's what this league's all about, and we've got to do a better job coaching it.
Tracy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how did those turnovers take you out of your offensive game plan and your play calling?
I don't know if it really took us out of our game plan, but it just put us into, we're in a little bit more hurry up. I still think we were able to run the ball. Dorian had a big long run right at the beginning of the second half for a touchdown. Felt had one for a touchdown. But we probably threw the ball a little bit more than anybody wants to throw it. I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, so I don't know our numbers of attempts and what that balance was. But, I think when you're behind, I think we were behind 21, so you're going to throw the ball a little bit more.
Sam, go ahead.
Coach, just talking about Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I mean, he had 2 turnovers on his own, but also 4 touchdowns. Can you talk about the pros and cons of his game tonight?
Yeah, I think like everybody, there's a lot of positives you can build on. Obviously, mounting the comeback that we did, there were a lot of positive things there. But it's a matter of everything. You gotta look at the whole game, and how do we clean up what happened to us in the first half, and build on what happened to us in the second half.
Tukni.
Coach, you mentioned earlier newcomers who flashed a little bit for you. Who kind of stands out in your mind right now? Even I know you haven't watched the tape yet, but right off the top of your head, who's kind of coming?
Obviously, I thought Q Knight was around the ball and doing some really good things for us on the defensive side of the ball. John Vaughn showed up a few times and made some plays. And then we'll look at the rest of the tape and see things. But those are some guys that I think on the defensive side that caught my eye.
Tony, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you gave up over 200 yards rushing again. They had a first-time starting running back, first-time starting quarterback. Did you guys feel unprepared for their ground game at all? Did they catch you by surprise at all?
No, I mean, it was the same offense they ran a year ago. It was the same offense and same defense that they've run. So Darren Cheverini, the coordinator, kind of did the same things that he was doing before. But again, we put our defense in bad situations. So I I can't look at that part of it and say, hey, we didn't come up where we needed to come up. I think they're obviously going to run the ball a lot more because they're up the way they were up. When the lead was so big, it's at a point in time. They're trying to work clock, and they ran the ball probably more than I thought they were going to run the ball coming into it. But again, we need to improve on that.
Ben, go ahead.
Two things. Can you say whether the player who tested positive made the trip, and is there anybody in quarantine as a result of that? And also the status of the Utah game next week with their situation.
First thing, I can't talk about anybody that tested positive. They just to say that they were unavailable. And then the Utah game, I think our league and everybody is working on trying to come to a resolution. I know Utah is working very hard from their end, but we haven't got any final clarification on that. So we'll wait to hear what's going to go on with that.
Tracy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Dorian seems like he's still just developing as a quarterback, just throwing off. It seemed like he threw off his back foot a bit, and he runs so well. He ran for over 100 yards. Is there some thought that maybe you'd use him more as in the zone read, more like in a running option?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did that tonight, Trace, but sometimes I think the score dictated we were throwing more. And then some of the throws off the back foot are necessary because he couldn't step through. We've got a rush, and they got a pretty good third down package and blitz package that they've run, and bring people from different angles and people at them. So that's understandable. But obviously we'd like to be a little bit more balanced. Again, I don't have the stat sheet, so I don't know what our run pass ratio was. But we always want to be able to run the football, and obviously he's a threat in the run game. So.
Okay, just a couple more here. Sam.
So Coach, Demetric Felton maybe lost a few snaps towards the end of the game. He was running up and down the sideline. Was he okay? Injured at all? Do you have to come out?
He had to come out, but I think he's okay.
What type of injury, like leg, foot, anything like that you can disclose?
Tell me that he's out, Sam. So I don't get into. It doesn't help me to say what the injury is, and then I weigh in on what I think from my medical expert opinion. Who's available and who's not available as the game's going on, and then obviously, when they get to the training room after the game, and we'll get a chance to have the docs and our trainers take a look at them. But I don't get the exact injury while the game is going on.
Tracy, go ahead.
Coach, in year 3, how frustrating is it for you with turnovers and penalties still persisting like this?
I don't think the year has anything to do with it, Tracy. If it was year 1 or year 40, penalties and turnovers are things that you can't do if you're trying to win football games in this league. And so I don't think the context of the year has anything to do with it. You need to clean up and win the turnover battle. And we also have to be able to stay away from what we call the SIWs, the self-inflicted wounds, the offsides on the defense to keep drives alive and things like that. It seemed like there was a lot of flags on both sides tonight. It was not a very clean game by any stretch of the imagination. And I think you talk about it, but we need to continue to drill it and work on it.
Okay, last question here. Ben, go ahead.
Will you do your practice tomorrow as if you're gonna proceed as if the game will be played Friday and go with that schedule?
We're awaiting final kind of what's going to go on. So we have not. We have contingency plans for everything, Ben. So are we going to play Friday? Then we have a contingency plan for that. If are we going to play at all? We have a contingency plan for that. So I think our administration has done a great job and has been in constant communication with Mark Harlan in the league at Utah and the league office to kind of what's going on, but we don't have anything definitive. So if they tell us we're going to play Friday, then we'll have to practice tomorrow. If they tell us something different, then we'll make an adjustment in that realm.
So you think there could be clarity in time to know whether you need to practice tomorrow?
I don't know anything about that. We're waiting to hear. So I couldn't tell you, yes, I'm going to know something, or I don't know. Like I could wake up tomorrow morning and I still not have an answer. So I'm just awaiting. I don't have a say. So we're waiting to hear from the other side. So I couldn't tell you that I feel good one way or the other.
Okay, Coach, we'll let you go. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Everyone, please go ahead and stay here on the line and we'll get some student athletes. Oh, here we go. We got Dorian Thompson-Robinson here. Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question, and I'll take you off mute. Ben, go ahead.
Hey, Dorian, that was obviously a pretty tough start with the 4 turnovers kind of early in the game. How much did that hurt you guys and make you kind of play comeback mode the rest of the game?
Yeah, I mean, any turnovers hurt, right? So, Coach Bible brings in a statistic from the NFL. If you have 2 or more turnovers, you might as well go home. So it's hard to turn over the ball and still win the game. And Coach talked about it after the game. We dug ourselves in a big hole and really couldn't dig ourselves out. So.
Mike, go ahead.
Hey Dorian, tough start to the first half, but the second half was a little bit better. What was said at halftime, and what were you guys communicating with each other in getting that quick start in the second half?
Yeah, Coach made some great in-game adjustments. We saw what their base looks were going to be, and so we made some great in-game adjustments with that stuff. And then really just the players coming together as one. We know we got to play one play at a time. And so just doing that and going out and executing each play.
Sam, go ahead.
Hey, Dorian. So you threw 40 passes tonight and also ran a lot. Looks like you were kind of fatigued towards the end. Were you tired? Were you expecting to have to work this much tonight?
You can never put an estimate on your stats or how many times you're going to get the ball or how many times you're going to pass the ball. So whatever it took to win was what I was going to do. In terms of being fatigued, I was not fatigued. They had a good D line, put a lot of pressure on me, and so getting hit around a little bit for the first time in a while kind of took some tolls on me.
Tony, go ahead.
Hey, Dorian, the second half looked dramatically different. You were running a little bit more freely. You found some holes on your own. What was the difference in the scheme of the offense in the second half versus what you guys were doing in the first half? It seemed to flow a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think just coming together as one, as an offensive unit, again, just playing for each other and playing for the defense and all that stuff. So just coming together as one and, again, playing each play. If you play each play and you execute each play, the drives look a lot different. So.
Ben, go ahead.
Did it feel, now that we know that you came out of this weird situation, that it was harder to get in a rhythm, given that all the challenges of the camp and all that seasons being delayed caused?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we haven't played football against a live opponent in almost a year. So, you see it around the country. Guys are making mistakes early on and even later on in the season too. So it's definitely a tough year. Definitely one it's different. It's not like any other year. You can't just go out there where you've had, loads of time to prepare and stuff like that. So just going out there and, again, playing each play and executing each play. So.
Tiffany, go ahead.
Dorian, you mentioned playing for the defense, and after turning the ball over 4 times in the first half, what kind of conversations do you have with your defensive teammates to kind of let them know you're going to try to pick them up as best you can after making some of those miscues?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's not even me going up to them; it's them going up to us, and them letting us know that we got their backs, and it's vice versa. We have their backs too. So it's definitely a brotherhood around here, and you could definitely see that on the field. I mean, when we took the field on offense, the defense knew we were going to score, and vice versa. So.
Last question here for Dorian. Sam, go ahead.
So no Devin Asiasi this year, but Greg Dulcich is there. Mike Martinez, you look their way a lot. Can you just talk about what you're seeing from the tight end position and how much success you got out of them tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the offense as a whole, we have a bunch of playmakers over there. Again, both of those tight ends are really good for us. And again, that's where the defense took me. They wanted to give out the tight ends position a lot. So just dinking and diming them, going up and down the field and just reading through my reads. So.
All right, thanks, Dorian. We'll let you go.
Thank you.
All right, we got Bo Calvert here. Again, please raise your hand to ask Bo a question. Sam, go ahead.
Hey, Bo. So right at the start of the second half, it looked like Osa kind of gathered the team around him, had something to say. What did he say, and kind of did that fuel you going into the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole team just came together after the second half. Obviously, it's a season opener. It's your first game. It's your first, live rep that you're going for, a longer period of time than in practice. And, obviously, there's a lot of jitters and nerves that are going into, especially a season like this where, everything's new and we haven't experienced any of this stuff. So I think you saw a lot of that in the first half, a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of things. Obviously that are easily correctable and you can fix. So that's a positive thing. But coming in the second half, like you mentioned, I think guys were able to relax a lot more, realizing it's just it's just a normal game and things slow down.
Ben, go ahead.
How do you feel like you guys, that you had a challenging situation where they had 4 turnovers in like the first quarter and a half? As a defense, how do you stay mentally? You guys deal with that?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit, but
Just the challenge of as a defense dealing with 4 turnovers in the first quarter and a half and staying positive.
yeah, I think you just got to find shelter, against the wind right there. Just got to kind of lean into it. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. A lot of the stuff was out of our control, but we got to make the best of every situation. So I think the most reassuring thing was not seeing that guys were not willing to give up easily. I don't think we gave up, and you saw that in the second half, fight until the very end. Just wish we were able to do that in the first half coming out.
Can you go ahead?
Bo, they had a new running back today. Did you know much about him going in? Obviously, you didn't have much tape, but what kind of impressed you about the way he ran today against you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think we made him look better than what he was, but we did know some things coming into the game that their starter might have been injured. But obviously, coming in the first game, like I mentioned before, it's the first time that you're full go for the whole game for 60 minutes. So seeing that in the beginning, obviously having a hard run game in the beginning and having to stop that is something new. Just obviously just because it's the first game. But I think we'll be better coming into week 2.
Sam, go ahead.
Hey, Bo. So obviously not a lot of crowd noise here tonight. There's a little pumped in, but definitely not usual. Is that something that you think worked to your guys' advantage on the defensive side of the ball?
Not really, no, because you can hear everything everybody's saying. So if they make a check, we can hear that. If we make a check, they check right back. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's really any advantage offensively or defensively. It just becomes sort of a different game at that point.
Any other questions for Bo? All right. Thank you for your time. We'll let you go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. That's going to conclude the media availability for tonight as the team has to get on the road.